Welcome back, everybody, to Outdoor Power Tech. Today we're going to be working on this V-twin Briggs engine. This is just your typical Briggs V-twin that they put on most mowers. I think this is between 22 to 24 horsepower. I'll have to look it up with the numbers on here to figure out what it is. It really doesn't matter because I'm just putting a sump pan gasket on this, and that's what this video is going to be about. So I've already removed it from the unit here. As you can see, there's a lot of oil buildup around the bottom right here. And the customer said that he has had this sump pan gasket replaced 2 times, I believe, already. He's had this unit for a long time though. But one thing I did notice is that whoever replaced it on here last time, let me get this up so we can see it. Whoever replaced it this last time used silicone. It looks like there's a little bit of gasket material stuck to it, but they did put silicone on top of the gasket also. So I'm gonna show you the correct procedures that I do to change this sump pan gasket, and you can see all the oil buildup on it. And above the sump pan, there's no oil. You might have some buildup from it just blowing up there, but that's a telltale sign that it's a sump pan gasket. So I've already drained the oil out of it. So the next thing I'm going to do is turn the engine completely upside down, and I'll show you what that looks like when I get that done. All right, so I got the engine upside down. This is what I mean by upside down. And I like to put a piece of 2x4 underneath it so it's at an angle. Now remember, I've done drained all the oil out of this, but there's still residual oil inside the unit. So with the upside down like this and on an angle, we're gonna get the rest of the residual oil that's in this engine. It's gonna come down to the very corner right here, and then I can suck all that out. And it makes for a much cleaner process than trying to tear this apart with a little bit. It's usually a lot. Even though you drain it out, there's still a lot of oil still in this. But I like to keep a clean space. I mean, if you're not wanting to do that, then I mean, you can tear it all down, get oil all over it, and have to clean everything. And a lot of times, I pressure wash the unit before it comes in my shop before I do this job. So this sump pan would be clean on the outside, the whole engine would be clean, but we are getting a lot of rain right now, so I wasn't able to get it out there and pressure wash it. But it's okay. We're still gonna get the job done. It's gonna go smoothly. But I'm gonna let this sit for probably about an hour, then come back and we'll take the sump pan off. And if you wanna know what a sump pan is, that's this, or you can call it oil pan. It's the bottom of your engine that holds the oil in it. And when we come back, we'll start taking that apart, and I'll just show you how I do this, and hopefully it'll help you. All right, guys, we're back. It's been sitting for a while. We're gonna go ahead and get our sump pan bolts out. You'll have a total of, I think it's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 of them. And here's a 1/2 inch. We'll see if we can get them off with a small impact first. Just set these to the side. Sometimes the gasket you get comes with bolts. But we'll just clean these up and put Loctite on, blue Loctite. That's the only difference when they come with the gaskets. They just have pretty Loctite on them. I mean, if you have a bolt that's boogered up and stripped out, you have a whole nother problem that we want to address on this video. But if you have a hole that is stripped out, there's There's a few things you can do in certain spots, but then there's other spots that you can't. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 6 holes here that if it is stripped through, you can put a bolt all the way through and tighten down with a nut on the other side. But if you get any of these upper ones up here, you're pretty much out of luck. All right, we got that done. Got those out of here. I'm gonna spin this around so you can see how I do this. See if I can get y'all close enough. What I like to do, so I don't have to pull the governor arm off so it stays at its right position, is you see your linkage right here that goes up to your governor and works all that. I like to just get a pair of needle nose pliers or flat nose pliers like this and bend that out of there and just push that down, let that sit there, okay? So that's unhooked from your governor arm now. And now you got your 2 springs right here. You can take them off with them on here like this. That's kind of hard. So what I like to do is just go ahead and take my throttle plate off. I know it's an extra step, but it makes things a whole lot easier so you're not trying to finagle with those springs and possibly damage something. So you got a 10 millimeter right there. Let's get this leaf out of here. You got a 10 millimeter right here. Let me see if I can get you down there with the camera so you can see where I'm filming at. So you got a 10 millimeter right here on your throttle plate, and you got another one right here, okay? So I'm just undoing those. Make sure you don't lose those bolts. Okay, and then this can just come down like this, and then you can just unhook your springs without boogering them up any. Make sure you don't lose them. All right, we can set this over here. Get this small spring. All right, and I would go ahead and take this spring off the other side of your throttle plate, especially if it's loose. This one's not loose, so I'm not gonna worry about it. It won't come off when I'm washing it. Okay, now let's get us turned back around here this way. Reposition my 2x4. Keeps wanting to slide a little bit. All right. Y'all can see that good? All right, now I get a rubber hammer. I have a smaller rubber hammer, but it's out in the camper that I'm restoring right now. And there's a tab right here. You want to just tap on that, and you can hear it. You hear it opening up. And then I'll do it right here beside the oil filter. All right, and we loose now. All right, so now I just lift up gently like this, and we pull it off, okay? And that piece that fell off is, let's see here, let me show you what piece that was that just fell off. All right. This fell off of the sump pan, but it doesn't go on this. It doesn't go on it anywhere. I don't know if the last mechanic, I don't know if it's sitting in the sump pan. And when I pulled it off, it just fell. Because this doesn't go with this engine. And you can see it's red. It's pan red. And that's what fell. What I thought fell out of the pan was, let me get my needle nose pliers and show you. What I thought fell out of this pan is you have a shaft in here that you're gonna want to pull out. And it looks like this right here. I'm gonna clean up with a paper towel. This is shaft that runs up to your oil pump. A lot of times when you pull your sump pan off, this will fall out. But before you clean up, make sure you pull this out and set this to the side. Because if you clean this up in a big tub like I got that has cleaning solution in it and it falls to the bottom, it's about daggum near impossible to find it unless it's got a clean bottom, but mine doesn't because I've been using it for over 10 years. So we'll set that to the side. And I'm gonna make sure there's nothing else on here. So you can see that the guy did put a gasket on it, but there's silicone on it. The gasket's completely pushed out right here. You see how it's pushed out? The gasket's not even on it. I've had a couple come in this year. There's a lot of gasket material inside here too. I've had a couple come in this year that people put silicone on top of the gasket, on the bottom and on top of the gasket. And I don't know if they just didn't replace the gasket and they just put silicone on it. That's what my thoughts are. Because this guy said he has had this done twice already. And the last one I got in like this was just like this. The gasket looked super old and had silicone on the gasket also. But I'm gonna get this in my tank and get it cleaned up. And then we'll go from there. So I'll be back with you when this is all cleaned up. So we'll see you in a bit. All right, while that's soaking, I'm gonna get this cleaned up a little bit. As you can see, there is a lot of oil inside of it still. See, this is what I was talking about. Even though you drain it, if you turn it upside down like this, you'll be able to get all the oil out of it. Let's get this knot out of my air hose here. This might be pretty loud for y'all, but it's my machine I used to suck oil out with. All right, got that all sucked out. And you don't have to get every bit of it out, but if you got a lot of debris in there, you want to get it all cleaned out. So we'll get that all real good and clean. And a lot of you will have a gasket stuck to here, and you'll need to get you a razor blade like this and scrape it off. Just don't dig into your aluminum too much, because you're gonna want it to have a good seal. But luckily, not for this guy, but luckily for me, the last mechanic silicone everything, so nothing was stuck to it. There might be, I think there's a good bit stuck to the other pan, which you can see me clean that off when it gets to that point. But get all that cleaned off. You don't want nothing on here. I'll also hit it with Let me get my little screwdriver. I want to make sure I don't have anything near where this seal's gonna go on that. Got a little bit of silicone right there. Because we're gonna want this thing to sit flush. See here, we got some right here, just a little bit. This hardly nothing. All right, the car cleaner. And another reason why I had it set on angles to let more stuff settle. I usually spray all this out. Better not use too much of this because I'm gonna need it for the bottom part of the pan. Any debris that you see in there, spray it out. All right, we're just gonna let that sit and drain. Let all this that we sprayed drain to the bottom right here. And then I'm gonna suck all that out. And then we'll get the sump pan cleaned up. I'm gonna clean the majority of it, get it spotless in my tank, and then bring it back over here. We'll probably have to scrape the gasket off of it and stuff like that. All right, guys, we'll be back here in a few minutes. All right, got the sump pan cleaned up. Pretty good. The mixture, the solution I soaked this in loosens stuff up pretty good, especially if it's silicone. We got the pan cleaned out. So we're gonna just scrape. Can y'all see that? So I'm just gonna scrape some of this stuff off here. And it might, I get some in here that it takes me 30 minutes to an hour just to get this stuff scraped off the sump pan and on the housing right here, because it's just stuck so hard, especially if it's an original and has never been taken off or replaced. But luckily, some idiot put silicone on top of the gasket. So we'll get that all wiped away. Get all this dried out real good. I'll probably do, I don't know why I'm doing this, but because I'm probably gonna give it another spray down with carb cleaner before. If any of you jumps ahead of the video just because you know how to do the rest of it, if you cleaned out, I do it anyways, no matter what. But especially because I clean this fall carb cleaner, I'm going to have an oil can and I'm going to lubricate all of this around all my journals and everything. Just don't get your oil on right here on your housing right here where it butts up to your sump pan, because you want that to be clean and dry. I wipe that down a couple times with brake clean on both surfaces. But just remember to re-oil that before you put it together, just so there's no dry spots. All right, now we'll turn this over. And those are hex heads. Sometimes those are torque bits. Sometimes they're 5/16. Let's see here. I think it's a 27. Yep, 27. And it's in there pretty hard. Look, that's silicone too. Let me go to 30, just in case. Okay, 30's gonna fit. There you go. What in the world? That one's boogered up. I wonder if I can use a 27 on that one. I doubt it. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that off because it is stripped and it wasn't stripped from me. It's boogered up bad. It looks like it has a weld spot on it. Okay. All right, y'all just give me a minute. I'll be back after I get that out. All right, that worked. I just, it was boogered up. You see that? That's burned out. You see that groove in the side here? Okay. My T30 wasn't fitting in there all the way. So I just got a small hammer and tapped it until it got in, and then it backed itself out. So, all right, now let's take this cover off and see what bull crap we're looking at. And I know I brought my, I'll set it over here. All right. Look at that, look. Now I've put silicone on here before, but not like this. And I don't know what type of silicone he used. Anyways. All right, well, I'm gonna get this cleaned up. This plate, I'm gonna get it cleaned up and real nice and clean. And we'll replace this seal on here too. All right. All right. So what I like to do next is we'll go ahead and pull your pump out. That's what it looks like, if you wonder. And I'll show you how to put all that back in. And then you have a screen here to catch all the trash. Look at that. Look. Look at that, completely clogged up. Just make sure everything's clean down in here. There's not much to it, so. And there is a little spring down in there. It won't come out unless you pick at it really, really hard. You'd really have to be trying to get it out to get it out. So don't pull that out thinking it's trash. I'm gonna go blow this out. All right, now we need to knock out this oil seal. That's really not that hard to do. Gotta find my little tiny hammer. I have a little hammer that I tap with. I think it might be in the camper. All right, so what I'm gonna do is get my punch right here and put it at an angle like this and pop that seal out of there. There we go. It is out. Now we're going to put the new one in. And there is a lip on this one now. I'm just going to drive it down to the lip. And I will put part numbers up for all of this for y'all, so y'all can know what parts they are. Now that's in. All right, now I'm gonna get my oil can. All right, and I'm going to oil all of this up here. So around these journals. Around the connecting rods. Now I'm gonna get it on the lifters. And that should be plenty enough. Now I'm gonna put a little bit on the oil seal. All right. All right, when you set this on here, you want to grab your governor arm and push it to where that flaps down. You see the flap right here? Because if you install it with it like this, I don't know if you can install it like this, but if you can, it could go past your governor on the inside and be stuck, and you'll have to take it all apart again. So push this all the way down like this. Like so, see? When you put it on. We're gonna slide it on. Oh, wait. We gotta put the gasket on. All right, let's put a little carb cleaner on here. Let's get all this stuff really clean. It's clean as is. That just boy, it's coming down. Let's put our gasket on. So here, pull this pin out of here. There's a pin right there that you can put in there to hold it in place. All right, that all looks good. Looks real good. All right, hold my governor in place like I was telling y'all. Yeah. All right, now bump this down. Don't bump it down all the way, cause we got to see if I can show y'all. We got to give a screwdriver and push this lip. See how I'm pushing this lip around this? Because you don't want that lip to roll back, because there's a spring behind that lip, and when that lip rolls backwards, that spring will pop out. So get that. Make sure everything's lined up. And sometimes you have to finagle it a little bit. Just don't, if it feels like it's not gonna go, don't make it go. There we go. Do that lip. All right, and there we go. That's on. Okay. Now let me put these hammers up. And get this spun around this way. So y'all can see. All right. Get y'all. Right, there we go. Okay. Now, let's put our filter back in. It goes like. Where does that thing go? Like that. Now I'm going to clean your oil pump up. Just wipe off the debris and slide that in. And there is some oil in there, so put this in. There we go. Oh, wait. Now I gotta put the shaft in first. All right, this piece that I was showing you earlier, let's put that in. You just pop it in like this, and then spin it until it falls down into the hole. There. Now this goes in, and just turn this until it falls into place, just like that. All right. Get our seal, put it in. It's gonna work perfect. And here's our seal right here. All right, now let's put this on here, like so. And we'll tighten these down. I'll do these by hand instead of using a torque. T30. Y'all still see me? Still recording? All right, got those in. Now let me get my bolts. And then we'll put you back where you can see what I'm doing here. Maybe I can zoom out right here. All right, got our bolts. Let's get our blue lock right. And all these are the same size. And you just have to put a dab on it. Don't go overboard. And the seal around your governor arm, I've never had those leaking, ever. If you get this all back together and everything, and it is leaking, you can do that job with it on the tractor. It ain't that hard of a job to do. But just make sure you replace your sump pan gasket, PTO seal, and the seal underneath here, and that will be all the seals on the bottom, so you won't have to, if you see a leak, you know it won't be that. So let's I want to run these up flush, and then we'll torque it down. All right, now it's calls for 200 inch-pounds is what I always set mine at. It says 220. But I always do between 200 and 210. So, all right, here we go. Are we recording? Yeah, we are. And always make sure you go in a cross pattern, okay? Probably should have ran that one down a little further. There we go. Now let's. All right. Then go back around, check all of them. And that's it, they all good. All right, now let's get the governor hooked back up. All right, let's hook up our governor. Let's get our throttle plate right here. And you want to hook this up. You want to run the hook this way into right here. I wish I could get you up further. I'll show you, and I need both my hands. So I'm gonna do this number right here. All right, there we go. That's in. If I can get that in and show you what that looks like. You see where the open end of that screw is, or that spring is? See, both open ends are facing me right now. All right. My camera stand won't go up no higher. All right, now let's hook up our little tiny spring. All right. Like this. And this thing can be a little bastard sometimes. Oh, we looked up. Okay, now let's put on our 2 bolts. And those are 10mm. One right here. One right here. Okay, now do your throttle this way, that's working. All right, now we'll get our linkage to the carburetor. Slide it back in. You might have to turn it just a little bit. Don't overturn this too far. Slide that back in, and you see this little bend in this right here, which is not much. We're just going to straighten it back straight like that. And there we go. Everything's hooked up right. All right, now what I do, I let this sit overnight just so my Loctite can set up. And then in the morning time, I come back in here and just I'll double check my bolts to make sure they're still at, well, I mean, I'll come back in an hour and check my bolts. And then I'll let it sit up overnight, let everything dry. and then we'll get it back on the machine and we'll be good to go. Well guys, I hope y'all learned something today. I hope this video was helpful. Just hook all your stuff up back right. Make sure you get oil put back in and new oil filter before you crank it up. Make sure your engine mount bolts are super tight on your frame. One thing that I have seen in the past, I had more come in here that a guy done silicone on top of a gasket, and he brought here, oil was going everywhere on his mower, and so I had him crank it up. Well, every revolution of the engine, of course your sump pan's bolted to your frame of your mower. Well, the whole engine was doing like this and was twisting, if that makes sense. This was staying still and his engine was twisting. And I don't know if that's silicone. I don't know if he just siliconed it up and put it together and run it before he let everything dry and it done that, or he didn't torque everything. But this is how I do it. Go back, clean everything real good, go back with your dry gasket, torque all your bolts, and I haven't had one come back yet. I've been doing this 10 years and have never had one come back. Just take your time and you can get this done. You can get this done in a couple hours if you stay at it. But all right guys, I appreciate it. Until next time, later.